If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 28th, 2022, and today the topic is Proverbs 31, Woman. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Man, not too much that I did yesterday. I mean, outside of assisting in a few areas, networking, hustling from home, doing a little stuff I do. Yeah, nothing too much to report. I was trying to rest a little bit. I remember earlier in the day. By the way, man, little man gets up around like 7, 8, 9-ish every day. It's like, dude, like, now I don't know if it's us that wakes him up or what, but yeah, he gets up kind of early, so we'd be like, go back to bed, son. But yeah, nothing to report about my personal life. So let's get into the juice, y'all. Let's get into the juice because I think it's gonna be a little interesting this morning. I mean, who has not heard of the Proverbs 31 woman? I mean, she's infamous, right? Like, intimidating, and all the words, right? Now, my prayer and meditation this morning with the Soul Space app wasn't necessarily about her. I can't even remember what exactly. I mean, well, I guess it was a few things. A few things made me think about this woman, this Proverbs 31 woman. I know I saw yesterday. I saw this quote in the Let's Be Clear group, and it was asking women, why do most women want a man, but they don't want the man to lead? And I was interested to see what the responses would be. I did check this morning before I went live, and I didn't see many responses, at least from women. One of the responses from a woman was talking about trust, and I think it was a man that brought up, like, basically either they've been hurt by boys in the past, and and that's kind of like clouding their judgment in regards to the men that they meet in their adult life or whatever the case is. I don't know. This is an ongoing thing though. Like this, not just singleness, but like this narrative that there are no good men and all these different things. And I mean, even though this conversation today or this topic today isn't necessarily about the man, still, I mean, I guess there's just something to think about when it comes to this conversation about the Proverbs 31 woman, because again, like, although, like, when you read that particular section, which is Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, you hear about all these things and what she does, and I guess I'll give you guys like a little synopsis of what she has going on, just in case you don't go deeper and read it for yourself. I did consider reading the entire thing, but just reading the entire thing for y'all this morning, but I didn't necessarily feel led to do that. I did write down some notes, so let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. So from what I gather, and I didn't write down everything that she represented and did and all that, but the majority of the things that stood out to me was the following. One of the first things it said about her is that she's virtuous. If you don't know that word, go ahead and define it while definitions are still good. But check that out. That was one of the first things that was said about her. The second thing that was said about her is that she is trustworthy, because it said that her husband trusts her. So I would just put the word trustworthy because that makes sense to me. It said that she does good. It said that she worked with her hands. It said that she brought food, and then not only for her household but for her maidens. Um, it also mentioned her owning property, considering and owning a property, or purchasing it. It mentioned several entrepreneurial endeavors that she was involved in, and the reason I say several because it talks about her bringing food to the merchants or something like that, and then it also talks about uh, her merchandise, and I think it mentioned something about clothing as well, in regards to entrepreneurial endeavors. So anyway, it also mentions her speaking wisdom, and it mentions her being a mother because her children, speaks highly of her. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure it goes on and on and on, and and that can be intimidating, I guess, to some. Uh, now I ain't gonna lie, as a woman, and a wife and all that, I was doing a comparison game, like, well, and I would say that, now I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I mean, I feel like, there's some similarities between, myself and the Proverbs 31 woman. Now, am I everything and doing everything and all of that? No. And am I perfect? No, by no means. But, I saw some similarities here and there, with some of her tasks and some of my tasks and things like that. And so there's a few things. There's a few things that came into my heart and mind when it came to this conversation about the Proverbs 31 woman. Um, yes, I thought about, being single and desiring, marriage and all that stuff. My journey, the cultivation period. I thought about all of that, Um, because again, y'all know that with me, I guess I kind of spent a lot of time preparing and like mentally preparing and whatnot, and getting advice and being patient and all those different things that I was learning in my single days. Um, and yeah, I do believe a lot of those choices and things that I did in my single days is what has led me to be in the position that I am now. Um, and again, yeah, I know there's sometimes that I still kind of wonder, like, I do feel like I could do better, right, and be better, and be a better wife to my husband and things like that, a better mother to my son, and all those different things, Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I make this personal, right? I think about me and what I could do to, even if I can't be the Proverbs 31 woman, like, can I get close to that? Can I be something like that and everything like that? Now I know people struggle with this conversation about women and the Bible. Um, for whatever reason, the narrative is that women didn't have or don't have any power according to biblical standards and everything like that. Again, I feel like this section alone debunks that because again, we just talked about all the different things that the Proverbs 31 woman did, and whatnot, and it didn't necessarily have anything to do with her being overpowered by her husband. Any mention of her husband in that section was talking about how he praised her and how he you know uh how he was a person of honor, um maybe not because of her, but due to some of her things that she had going on, and so I mean, if you look at this, does this woman not seem empowered? Multiple business endeavors, buying property. I mean, she seems empowered to me, but I mean, who knows? People want to put out what they want to put out and say what they want to say regarding the Bible. And then let's just be clear here, right? The Bible has plenty to say to men as well, right? But I know right now I'm only talking about the Proverbs 31 woman because that's what came to my heart and mind this morning. But go deeper, man. Go deeper for yourself and check this stuff out because the word has plenty to say to men and husbands and things like that. So So it's not just that the woman is out here doing X, Y, and Z, and then the man's not doing anything. Um, but anyway, so let's go deeper into this chat about the woman, right? Um, so as I kind of looked up verses centered around the Proverbs 31 woman, I did come across verses that were, not in that section that I felt like, went well with this conversation, right? And so let's start with one of the first mentions of a woman, right? And that's in Genesis 2:18. It says, "Then the Lord said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." So, why were we created women? Well, it seems to me, just by reading this, is that we were created to be a companion to the man, so he would not be alone, right? And then also to be a helper. Okay. Um, yeah, be a companion and be a helper. Uh Now, did Eve do everything right? Was she the perfect helper to Adam? Maybe not. Again, she did some things her own way, and he, um, well, there's a lot to be said there. I mean, Adam, maybe you should put your foot down, to the woman and reminded her of what the Lord had told you, Adam, but you didn't do that. And then there is the interesting thing as well is there are verses that go on to, I don't know if you would say explain, but it starts talking about how basically the woman is going to desire the position of the man. Now maybe I don't know if I'm misquoting. I won't say that I'm misquoting, but maybe I'm paraphrasing loosely, so you guys can go and look up those type of things for yourself. You could even Google, like, is there verses that say anything that what I just said? And I'm sure the verse that I'm talking about will come up or whatnot. But yeah, and that just makes me think about the women of today, right? It makes me think about like everything that we see right now. There's this big push to bring the men down, lift the women up, type of vibe. And if you guys don't see that, then I mean, hey, again, by all means, you can pray about what I'm saying, and everything like that. But from what I've observed, I've definitely seen a push to, I guess as they say, go against the grain, right? Go against, God's order and whatnot. Um, Now, again, I mean, we can go back to this account and be like, well, Eve, if you didn't do what you did, then maybe, things wouldn't be the way they are in regards to the relationship between men and women. However, we can't go back about all that. All we can do is move forward and try to live accordingly to what the Lord has done and then created, us to be. So at least, the very least we can do as women is to be a companion and a help to the man. Now, here we go. Now, I will say, when referring to the Proverbs 31 woman, I think it's good to point out that this lady is a wife. That section is called the good wife. The good wife. And I understand that every woman is not a wife. So, I mean, maybe there's some grace there. If you're just a woman, I know that sounds bad, but if you're just a woman, you're not a wife. Maybe some of those positions and some of those, things, you don't have to worry about it at this current moment, if you do things God way. That's a whole other subject. However, if you want to be a good wife, right, then perhaps, these are some of the attributes that we should take on. But anyway, let's keep talking about the word. What would the word say? So speaking of that, Proverbs 12:4, it says, "An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones." Ooh, rottenness in his bones, man. Yeah, I think I prefer to be a crown. I would like to be the crown to my husband. I definitely would not like to bring him shame or be rottenness in his bones. something to think about. Something to think about. If you want to be a wife, right? If you desire to be a wife, maybe that's something to think about there. Let us be crowns and not bring shame. Proverbs 12:19. It says, "It is better to live in a desert land than with a quarrelsome and fretful woman." Ooh. Now, hey, maybe we can go and define the words quarrelsome and fretful, just in case you don't know what those mean. And hopefully that don't make us think of ourselves when we look up those words, because apparently, according to this, it's better to live in a desert land than to be with women like that. Now, I will say, again, there are certain narratives about women that is pushed out right now, that's glorified right now, that's, celebrated and whatnot right now. And those type of women that are getting those positions and different things like that, they do seem to be a little bit quarrelsome. But again, just because this is the quote-unquote norm these days doesn't mean that that's how you should be or present yourself. So again, if you want to be a good wife, right, or even excellent, then I guess that's something to keep in mind as well. I have one more verse. It is Proverbs 31:30. It says, "Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." I hope that you all go deeper and check out the entire Proverbs 31, that section about the good wife and everything like that. And there's another verse in the go deeper section as well, to just kind of peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. I pray for us women out here. I pray for us, wives, and and anybody that desires that as well. I pray for you all as well. You guys know I already have, or you should know already, that I have a heart for single people. I struggled in that area. And so, yeah. If you're not married, right, and that's something that you desire, then, I would consider to, if I'm not lining up with who this woman represented and whatnot, then I would start trying to be more like this Proverbs 31 woman, and then perhaps you'll find a man that, and and then I believe that your husband will find you. And you can be held in honor as the crown, and not the not rottenness to the bones or anything like that. But anywho, the Bible verse of today is Philippians 2:3. It says, "Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem each other better than themselves." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Just a reminder, tomorrow is Friday, so that means that we have a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show, that will be going live at 7 p.m. It is a chat with Miss Bree. I don't want to mess up her last name, so I will call her Miss Bree T. She has an amazing testimony that will be shared tomorrow, so I hope that you guys check out that episode. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow morning if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
This has been brought to you in part by Anointed Touch Health, Fitness, and Beauty. Eat right and exercise daily. Walk with God. Run from the devil. 1 John 20:20, you have an anointing from the Holy One. Visit anointedtouch-hfb.com for more information.